Hello, it's John Heaton, and this evening I'm going to review this album from Fleetwood Mac, released 30 years ago this week, April 1987, and it was their first album with what I call the classic lineup, their first album with that lineup for 5 years, or with any lineup, their first album since Mirage 1982, and actually their last album with this lineup. Studio album anyway, so I was very excited when it came out. I bought it the day it came out, as I did Mirage, and I do remember going to a Paul Simon concert at the Albert Hall, part of the Graceland tour, and we were just waiting. We didn't have a ticket for that particular night. We'd already attended the concert the previous night, so we were just hanging around trying to get tickets, and Christine McVie and Mick Fleetwood walked into the building, and so I remember saying to Christine, looking forward to your new album, it's out this week, isn't it? And she said, yeah, I think it's Friday or something, so that was very unexpected. The hype sticker, the opening single, which came out in March of '87, Big Love. And what else can I say about this album? I'm going to show you the vinyl. This illustration on the front cover, by the way, is an Australian artist called Brett Livingston Strong, and the painting is called Homage to Henry Rousseau. It's very much in the style of some of Rousseau's work, and apparently this painting was hanging in Lindsay Buckingham's home, and if you look very carefully there's a penguin in the painting, which is the Fleetwood Mac symbol, if you like. So, and there's all kinds of other animals there. Very nice cover, I like it a lot. Band picture on the back, and lyrics, and then it's on this label with the band picture of them mucking around. Credits. So this was in the days when vinyl was kind of almost on the way out, not quite, but nearly getting that way. And one of the things the vinyl industry did as a kind of a last effort to kind of revive itself is they made a big deal of 12-inch singles. And this got a bit out of hand with certain bands and certain albums. I'm going to show you my collection of 12-inch singles from this album, starting with Big Love. The good thing about these 12-inch singles is the B-sides often were unreleased, and they're quite interesting. This particular one had You and I Part 1, which is featured on the bonus disc of the CD, which I'll show you in a bit. But these extended versions, I played them a couple of times and then I kind of, never again, so I don't think they're essential. And you think I've just got This Is Everywhere. By the way, Big Love and Everywhere, both top 10 singles in the UK, and did pretty well in the US as well. And Little Lies was also top 10 or even top 5, I think, in the UK, and did well throughout Europe. This one has a bonus track called Ricky, and then Seven Wonders, Stevie Nicks' track, was yet another 12-inch single, and these covers are not particularly interesting. This is Family Man, which I don't think deserved to be a single, and then this one, Isn't It Midnight, with this dreadful cover. That certainly didn't deserve to be a single. So, how many have I got? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 12-inch singles from the same album. You tell me if that's overkill or not. So, to the album. I like this album a lot. I don't think it's particularly that much stronger than Mirage. I think Mirage is almost on a par with this album, although this album did a lot better commercially. I don't think it's as good as Fleetwood Mac, Rumours or Tusk in my opinion, but it's certainly got its several highlights, and the biggest highlight for me is the opening track, Big Love, which is Lindsay Buckingham at his absolute best, delivering the goods yet again. How many times has he come up with a storming album opener? Monday Morning, Secondhand News, to name but two. And this one, so important to have a strong opening track so that, if one feels like reaching for an album, one is more inclined to do that if the opening track is as wonderful as this one. And the instrumentation is brilliant. Not too much involvement from Stevie Nicks on this album is one thing I'll say. She only turned up for a couple of weeks of the sessions, and on this track, you know those grunts that you hear, the man grunt followed by the female grunt, which are really cleverly done and add a lot to the atmosphere of the song. I was a bit disappointed to read that the female grunt is not Stevie Nicks at all, it's Lindsey Buckingham sped up. So he's answering his own grunt, which maybe I didn't really need to hear that, because I always imagined it was Stevie Nicks, but it isn't. And why should it have been? Because Lindsey and Stevie had not been a couple for quite a few years by the time this came out. By the way, the CD here just come out like last week. I just picked it up this week, and it's just recently come out. Some really interesting band pictures here, some outtakes from the session which you see on the record label. Another one there. And they're very interesting to see. One thing I'll say is they do like to pretend that they're still a couple, don't they, Lindsey and Stevie? Like here. They probably hadn't escaped their attention that their commercial appeal was probably enhanced by all these rumours of intra-band relationships and whatever else. So they kind of they've been playing up to it over the years, and they still, in concert, if you go and see them now, Lindsey and Stevie are kind of flirting with each other. But as Mick Fleetwood said, those two will always remain connected to some extent, so maybe it's valid. So anyway, back to the album. Big Love, probably the best song on the album, so difficult for the album to live up to that. But then Seven Wonders is definitely Stevie Wonder's finest moment on the album. Apparently she had trouble recording her vocals because the vocals were done in the master bedroom of Lindsey's house, and Lindsey's new partner was present, so a bit of a weird situation for Stevie. She said she was pretty out of it, but even she knew that was weird. And but she delivers a pretty strong vocal on Seven Wonders, but I have to say the track is definitely enhanced by Lindsey Buckingham and Christine McVie's backing vocals, and Lindsey's arrangement of, again, just taking a Stevie Nicks song and enhancing it superbly. And the same goes for Everywhere, which is a Christine McVie number, which is a big hit single, and Lindsey's guitar playing is just brilliant and really lifts the song to an even greater height. Probably would have been a good solo track for Christine McVie, but I think it's fair to say that these tracks are probably better served by the band, with Lindsey contributing so much as he did on guitar and backing vocals and arrangement wise. And then we have a couple of tracks which kind of were left over from an aborted Lindsey Buckingham solo album. He'd already released Go Insane, the solo album from 1984, and he started work on another one which hadn't been that successful commercially. I think in the US he'd had a couple of kind of minor hit singles, but he started work on another album, and then one thing led to another, and it ended up being a Fleetwood Mac album. So this song, Caroline, the next one, is pretty quirky Lindsey Buckingham stuff. Perhaps more suited to a solo album, but it works perfectly okay here. Not much involvement from the others, from what I can hear, vocally at least. Tango in the Night. Similarly, almost a solo effort, I think, from Lindsey, or he's doing the lion's share of the work. And then the next track, the last track on side one, is a beautiful ballad, co-written by Christine and Lindsey, called Mystified. And this is just Christine writing another melody to die for. She can do it in her sleep, and here's another example of that, just absolutely beautiful. And then you flip over to side two, and well, you know, people on the vinyl community had recently been making videos about albums which feature one side stronger than the other, and I don't particularly subscribe to those kind of theories, but this is one album where I think it's fair to say side one is definitely stronger than side two, although side two starts off quite strongly with a single, Little Lies, which is kind of commercial poppy number, but really lifted to the heights by the fact that the three of them are singing the chorus. You know, Christine starts off with "Tell Me Lies, Tell Me Sweet Little Lies," and Stevie comes in with "Tell Me Lies," and Lindsay goes, tell me lies." Brilliant. "Oh no, no, you can't disguise. You can't disguise. No, you can't disguise." Brilliant, brilliant. And really making use of the three members, the vocal members of the group, to tremendous effect in that track. And a deserved hit single, and one of the 80s most popular songs when people do retrospectives of that particular decade. Family Man is from Lindsay Buckingham. Stevie Nicks in the liner notes of the CD says this album is her favourite album from Lindsay Buckingham's song standpoint, which is a little bit difficult to understand, but I guess the reason for that is these songs are not written about her. So many people's favourites from Lindsay, probably a bit difficult for Stevie to hear, like Secondhand News and Never Going Back Again and Go Your Own Way, because they're all written about Stevie. So that's probably why she prefers this album. Interesting. So, where was I? Family Man, it's an okay track. I don't think it really deserved to be a single. Some weird backing kind of bass vocal there. And then Welcome to the Room, Sarah, is a song written about, I think it was the Betty Ford clinic which Stevie Nicks had checked into for her cocaine addiction in '86 sometime. And this song is about that experience. It's quite moving. And the others are really trying hard to help with it vocally. And it works pretty well. It's not a fantastic song, but the arrangement is good, and the vocal is Stevie Nicks laid down a good vocal. Apparently on the Lindsay and Christine tracks, any vocals that Stevie did had to be wiped because she'd had a few too many brandies by all accounts. So Isn't It Midnight is Christine McVie's track, and it's not my favourite. Again, it was a single for some reason. They just went overboard with releasing singles from this album. It's quite upbeat, it's quite catchy, but it's pretty forgettable compared to Christine's other tracks on this album. Quite nice guitar from Lindsay. Then When I See You Again, kind of slow ballad from Stevie, but a pale patch on her classic ballads like Landslide and Beautiful Child. And apparently the vocals, quite a bit of this vocal of this song is Lindsay just playing around. I'm not sure if he recorded his vocal and made it sound like Stevie or something. I was reading that some of the vocal is kind of cobbled together from something or other, so it does sound a bit weird if you listen to it. The backing vocals are definitely not Stevie. What's the matter, baby? That bit, but the lead vocal is not. There's something a bit. Listening to it again, you notice there's something a bit strange about it. So there's some very funny production techniques being used there by Lindsay, by all accounts. And then You and I Part 2 finishes the album, and I think it's a shame that they left out You and I Part 1, which is the B-side of Big Love, because I think it works well together as a kind of one of those mini suites that Lindsay Buckingham's so good at doing. He did that on his solo album Go Insane. And I think it works better with the Part 1 with it. But Part 2 is okay, it's catchy enough and a good closer to the album. So this album was massively successful, and then Lindsay Buckingham left the band and refused to tour with it. So the band had a choice. They could either go on tour without him, or they could not tour. So they went on tour without him. And I did see the band that year, and I met Christine McVie and Mick Fleetwood, and they signed this Tusk music book for me. And I complimented Christine on the fact that she was playing Brown Eyes from the Tusk album on that tour. And she said, yeah, we tried to do a bit of everything. And it was good to meet them, and it was good to meet those two, and it was good to see the concert. But if any of you have seen Fleetwood Mac without Lindsay, there's something missing for sure. And Billy Burnett and Rick Vito, talented as they may be, could not really fill the gap of Lindsay either vocally or instrumentally. So it was a little bit disappointing, that tour, and any other tour where Lindsay's not been involved has been rather unsatisfactory in my opinion. But a very good album, and unfortunately their last album with this full 5 member classic lineup, and many highlights. and it's an album I come back to often, and I've started playing it a lot recently because this CD just came out. So, thank you for watching. See you next time.